Here are 5 things that happen when God chooses someone for you. Number 1, when God chooses someone for you, you will also choose that person for yourself. There will always be some mystery when we're trying to comprehend how the sovereignty of God and man's free will connect. However, rather than thinking it can only be one or the other, the Bible routinely mentions both working at the same time. Therefore, you don't need to worry that God has sovereignly chosen someone for you that you're not going to want to choose. When God chooses someone for you, his choice will manifest through your free choice to also choose this person for yourself. Number 2, when God chooses someone for you, that person will also freely choose you. The same principle we just talked about in point 1 will also relate to this person's connection with you. If they don't choose you, if they don't have a desire for you, then that's not God's choice for you. Proverbs 21 verse 1, the king's heart is a stream of water in the hand of the Lord. He turns it wherever he will. Not only will your desire correspond to God's choice for you, but that person's decisions to be with you will also correspond to God's choice for you. Number 3, when God chooses someone for you, other relationship opportunities will not be blessed. God will direct us to his path for us through closed doors. Closed doors are like arrows pointing us towards the open door that God does have for us. In other words, when you want to be with someone that's not God's choice, you still have free will. So you can make efforts. You can choose to try to be with them. They may even be doing the same thing for you. But if God's not in it, the whole thing just won't work. You'll either fall into sin, there'll be fighting, or you'll just know in your spirit, even though there's not some huge problem, you'll both just know this isn't what God actually wants. So the lack of blessing is a sign that God has chosen someone else for you when you're dealing with all these relationships that aren't working. Notice how Jesus used this type of principle when directing his disciples in ministry. Luke 10 through 11, but whenever you enter a town and they do not receive you, go into its streets and say, even the dust of your town that clings to our feet, we wipe off against you. Jesus was showing us that when people reject us, that's a sign that God wants us to spend our time in other places. The same principle applies to romantic relationships. When it's not blessed, when it's not working, that's a sign you need to spend your energy elsewhere. Now, of course, sometimes you got to work through a problem. Sometimes it's not going to always be perfect. It's never perfect in a relationship. But you'll know that the efforts you put in will result in good fruit when it's God's choice. You'll try to make it work with someone who's not God's choice and it just still won't work. And if you're finding value in this video, it's a huge blessing to me in this ministry to give it a thumbs up. That helps it spread to other people who might also need to see it. Number 4, when God chooses someone for you, you will not immediately know it. It's actually a bad sign when you don't actually know somebody, but you have this strong conviction that they are God's choice for you. So why is that a bad sign? Well, it's a bad sign because usually that strong conviction is coming out of a place of imagination or infatuation or idolatry. Those are making you feel like this is God's choice, but you really don't have any tangible evidence that would point you in that direction. When God really chooses someone for you, it almost always occurs through a very logical, real process that has a flesh on it. You know, you're really connecting with someone. You're actually talking to them. You actually have good conversation and spend real minutes together, time, hours on the phone, connecting, going on dates. It's all real. It's not just in your imagination. And even when God does actually send you a vision or actually send you a dream, I'm not saying God can't do that. I'm just saying that's not the normal process. But even if he does do something that's supernatural, even those things will be confirmed in the natural. If you feel like you had a vision or a dream and this is a sign that this is God's chosen person for you, but then it doesn't correspond to the facts, your feelings about it don't matter. The facts overrule the feelings in the long run. Deuteronomy 18:22, if what a prophet proclaims in the name of the Lord does not take place or come true, that is a message that the Lord has not spoken. that prophet has spoken presumptuously. So do not be alarmed. I like the balance in that because it says the prophet has spoken presumptuously, which is wrong. That's not right. But it doesn't necessarily say that's for sure a false prophet. So sometimes we just get it wrong. And, that's a part of being human. If that's happened to you, it's okay. Just learn from it and move forward. And number 5, when God chooses someone for you, you two will become a couple one day. That's the point I've really been alluding to throughout this video. When God chooses someone for you, in the end, you will actually marry that person. When God says something, it always occurs. If something doesn't occur, God never said it. I hope this was helpful content to you. I'm Mark from ApplyGodsWord.com. And until next time, God bless.